Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Sunday, March 23rd, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $, ORIONNWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got NASCAR Cup Series racing. We're at Homestead, Straight Talk Wireless 400. Can't wait. They're getting into their cars as we speak. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for some racing this Sunday afternoon. Let's get it. Let's go, baby. And I had to hit you with the Napa know-how. And obviously, I know he's got a different sponsor today, and I ended up getting a good image of the car, but I couldn't get a good image of Chase Elliott himself with the new uniform, so I figured I'd go with the default. But I'm ready for this stream here today, and hopefully we can find a way to get Chase in the winner's circle. Let's go, baby. Daniel in the building, what's good? All right, let's get settled in here, get all my screens set up. And on the pole, and obviously the front, Alex Bowman, Hendrick Motorsports. As you can see, Josh Berry, getting his victory last week. That was definitely very sweet for him in row 1. Noah Gragson and Chase Briscoe in row 2. William Byron and Ryan Blaney in row 3. John H. Nemechek and Austin Cindric in row 4. And Bubba Wallace and AJ Allmendinger in row 5. Let's go, baby. Sarah in the building, what's good? Florida, for a number 1 seed, you definitely have been kind of seeing the theme, that it's a little bit more well-rounded in March Madness this year. The teams at the top aren't really as dominant as we've seen in years past. We know Duke is good. We know Auburn is good. We know Florida is good. But are they good enough to make it all the way to the Final Four? Are they good enough to win it all? It doesn't really feel like there's a dominant team in college basketball this year that's leaps and bounds better than everyone else. It feels like, you got teams at the top, but they're pretty even with each other. So a big win for Florida, winning by 2 points over UConn, an 8 seed. And then we got Duke and Baylor coming up next, Illinois and Kentucky, St. Mary's and Bama, Colorado State and Maryland, Ole Miss and Iowa State, New Mexico, Michigan State, and the one that I'm looking forward to is Oregon, the 5 seed versus number 4 Arizona. If I have enough energy after this stream is over, there may be a possibility I do that stream also, but I need to make sure I spend time with Paisley and I get my exercise in and do my regular routine. But if I don't end up doing a stream of Oregon, Arizona later tonight, obviously if Oregon advances, the next time that they play, we'll probably end up doing them at least once before they get knocked out of the tourney. But shout out to Florida. That was a little bit too close to comfort. But it also shows you that, teams that are sitting at a 7, 8, or 9 seed, they're going to be a little bit better than people think. They're going to come and play those 1 seeds, as like maybe if they were a 4 or 5 or a 6. So don't get fooled by the number next to the school. Again, as we get further in the tourney, you're going to get some upsets, and there's going to be a lot closer games, so to speak, like we had this morning. Big facts. Let's go, baby. Can't wait for Hendrick Motorsports. And obviously you're seeing Hendrick being represented, pretty good there, obviously in the top 10. But again, Chase starting back a little bit further, and hopefully he'll be able to work his way to the front. And I'm definitely excited about today's race here today. STL, you got Bubba winning today. Wild card, right? I mean, you could pretty much say Ryan Blaney any race because he's that damn good. And obviously if it wasn't for a mishap, in the Xfinity series, since we saw Kyle Larson get, spun out on lap 45 to go, in that race, and then finding his way all the way to the front and winning that race, which was incredible. I don't think I've seen too many drivers be able to do that in any field. And then he was going to win the Xfinity race, was leading over 100 laps, but then getting a caution late. Didn't have a good restart. He had someone obviously stall, next to him, in front of him. And that was the end for him. And Justin Allgaier, was pretty far back, but he ended up getting into the winner's circle yesterday in the Xfinity back-to-back race wins. for Justin Allgaier there for Junior Motorsports. Dale Jr., I see you. And then here today, there's going to be a few guys from Hendrick Motorsports that are going to be going for victory lane, but you never can count out those feisty Fords, and there might be a Toyota, up towards the front near the end. Definitely going to be excited how this plays out this afternoon. Let's go. Odin in the building. What's good? And I was looking at the schedule. I don't know if you're going to be able to watch it with me, even if we end up having a little bit lower of a turnout, because it's going to be on at 1 o'clock instead of the typical 5 o'clock. But we will be doing Monday Night Raw, obviously, in the European tour. We'll be doing that tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific. So I know some people are busy. I know some people are going to be working. But I am going to end up doing that because not a lot of action going on. Obviously, no college basketball games. That's going to be later on in the week. No Blazers, no Kraken. So pretty much I am left to do Monday Night Raw. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow at an early time. And hopefully Odin will be able to come through and hang out with your boy. And we'll get a few others that will be able to hang out with us as well. Josh Berry with his first career Cup Series win. Definitely excited about that. And then we have to kind of wonder, who is going to be the next guy, that might be able to get his first win. Will it be Carson Hocevar? Will it be Ty Gibbs? We'll have to wait and find out. But I'm definitely excited to see where this one plays out here today. Let's go, baby. And then Duke and Baylor are going on, and I'm going to throw that up here as well because I want to. Obviously, I know Duke is going to win, but, just being able to watch Cooper Flag is a joy. So I did quite a few streams of Duke this season, just specifically for him. And, it's kind of funny. I think out of, there are 3 losses this year. I think I actually streamed every loss that they had, out of the games that I did. But, again, they look much stronger here late in the year. A little bit different of a story than what we saw with Auburn, kind of losing games late going into the tourney. But again, should be exciting here today with March Madness for the men's and the women's. All right, Cooper Flag at the line there. All right, let me get situated with my screens here. All right, got the Duke game up with Baylor. Kyle Larson obviously was trying to go for the trifecta, just fell short yesterday, even though he was the most deserving to win that Xfinity race. But again, it's really hard to win the trucks, the Xfinity, and the Cup. There's only very few individuals that have been able to ever do that. Kyle Busch, is able to do it. Kyle Larson, a very skilled driver. He also won another race earlier in the week that wasn't trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. The guy will race in anything that he can get his hands on. And again, definitely excited to see what we can get here with Chase Elliott in row 9, starting off a little bit further back in the field. And that's kind of been the case for Chase Elliott. Napa know how. And hopefully we'll find a way to get it done here today. Go Chase. And Chase is rocking the Uni First Corporation car. It's kind of got a look like this Tyler Reddick vehicle as well, with this kind of scheme of kind of a sky blue, foam, sea green, blue, green kind of look to it. And I like it. And again, I was just a little disappointed I wasn't able to get a good enough image of Chase to put on the thumb. So I figured instead of just doing the Uni car and then the Napa outfit, I figured I would just match it on the thumb. But I got the car to convert, but I wasn't able to get a good enough, real sharp image of Chase. And, I want to make sure I'm making them look as good as they possibly can. Larry McReynolds, I see you. You're a NASCAR god. You're my favorite. 7-4 Duke early on. Let's go, baby. Oh, look at this. Britt making the stream before she falls asleep in stage 2. Love ya, miss ya. And yeah, we have been able to kind of catch each other there at the end. You're a very busy mama, going through, a busy schedule throughout the week. It's always good to be able to see you in the stream. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And hopefully we can say Chase in the Uni, work his way up into the top 10 and then hopefully in the top 5 or better in the winner's circle. Let's go. 80, 85, and 102 in the final stage. Pit road 45 miles an hour. Don't get caught speeding, y'all. 66 to 70 laps for that fuel window and 267 laps, 400 miles here today. Definitely excited about the race, and hopefully we end up getting a good finish for our guy. Napa know-how, even though it's Uni first, obviously with that ride here today. What do you feel about that ride here today? Do you like that sponsorship? I mean, I think anything for Chase is better than Hooters. I feel that was the worst sponsorship. I didn't really like the colors or that kind of vibe. If someone else wants to represent that, particular company, so be it. But you're getting a lot of Homestead themed vehicles with this kind of sky blue, seam foam green kind of look. And, it's not just Chase Elliott. You'll see Bubba Wallace there on TV and a few of these other cars that have kind of a special theme, a special, sponsorship, for this particular week. And you get some of the vehicles that kind of give you that Miami vibe, just like when the Miami Heat would have those alternate, unis that they would rock with the, the pink and obviously that particular look that makes you feel like Miami. We are here at Homestead, and hopefully we'll end up being victorious when the stream is up. Ooh, munching on some cold leftover pizza. Save me some. The matte black neon orange, you like that one? I don't know. For me, I don't know. It's like I don't mind, some of the alternate sponsorships and whatnot, but I feel like there's some better ones, but again, I feel like the Napa is always going to be the best, and I feel that he races the best that way, whether it's like the all-white version there at Bowman Gray, with the white and blue version or the straight blue, but hopefully we can get it going here. Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys! Let's go, baby. Dakota race car. Yeah, I like that one too. Wow, running 4 wide early. And again, if you end up running on the high side, it seems like it's the fastest. You got to be really careful you're not scraping the wall. Guys like Kyle Larson have perfected it. And again, every car is going to be a little bit different. If you go on the low side, it's going to really rip up those tires. And again, tires will be an issue as the race goes on. But again, going on that high side, as close to the wall as you possibly can be, it seems like that's kind of the fast line, or at least it was during the trucks and the Xfinity. And we'll see if that ends up taking place here today in the Cup Series in the Straight Talk Wireless 400 here at Homestead. Yeah, tough. But they played a lot better than I think people, thought, going into the matchup today. The game was a hell of a lot closer. And that's a credit to UConn. Yeah, watch out for that progressive banking. 4 laps in out of 80 here in stage 1. Glad we have Britt here before she falls asleep. Bowman, Blaney, Barry, Gregson, Briscoe, Byron, Cindric, Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher, and AJ Allmendinger in 10th. John H. Nemechek in 11th. Let's get Chase Elliott in the top 10 sooner than later. Let's go. I figured you were going to bring that up because I was going to say I was trying to remember what it was, but I figured you'd look it up as well. Eyelids getting heavy already, especially with that leftover pizza. But it's always good to see your beautiful face here in the room. And again, racing is always going to be fun as we get closer and closer to the MLB opening weekend. Obviously, we ended up having the Tokyo series with the Dodgers and Cubs. Dodgers won both of those, but for a lot of the other teams, they're going to get going here on Thursday. Let's go, Chase. I mean, you can't miss his ride, as well as Tyler Reddick. You know, he's got kind of a combo color scheme as well as Bubba Wallace. You know, but when you see that sea foam green, just like you see on the track, and obviously a little bit of that pink that, you know, the Miami Heat and obviously people in Florida are known for that color of the sea foam green and the pink, you're definitely going to see some of the, you know, colors on the track, and they definitely pop here this Sunday afternoon. STL in the building. All right, no worries, my guy. Yeah, Blaney's car looks weird. You know, I'm trying to kind of put a finger to what it reminds me of, you know, but definitely not the normal color scheme, you know, or sponsor that we're used to with him. But again, as far as driver is concerned, you can never count out Ryan Blaney in any race. But yeah, I'm not too big of a fan of that particular scheme here today. 9 laps in, Blaney, Bowman, Barry, Gregson, Briscoe, Byron, Cindric, Wallace, Busher, Allmendinger, Logano making himself known there on the outside looking in. Where's Chase at 15th? Move your ass up, baby. Let's go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 20 within the first hour so we can hit the algorithm, 30 to 50 overall if we get some help. And then obviously 100 in the donos on every single stream. Let's get it, baby. I agree, 100%. Yeah, it definitely looks a little off, just the way that they have the cars set up. I mean, you know, with the sponsorship, and anytime you end up having a different color hood, you know, compared to the side of the cars and, you know, where they have the logos of the sponsorship, sometimes it's seamless and it comes together, and then other times it kind of looks a little off and it doesn't really look smooth as some of the other cars here this afternoon. I don't know if I'm going to have the energy for Oregon and Arizona later tonight, but we'll kind of play it out, you know, play it by ear and, you know, see how it goes. And, you know, I may end up doing that stream later today, you know, depending on what kind of results we get with this stream. And we'll see how Paisley is doing as well. And, you know, if I'm not able to do the stream, if I'm too tired, I'm definitely going to be watching it today, and hopefully Oregon will end up getting it done. Yeah, I'm going to stream Raw tomorrow. Again, there is no March Madness. You know, there is no Blazers or Kraken or anything else really that I can do. Not a whole lot really going on. So, yeah, I will be doing Monday Night Raw tomorrow, which will be at 1 p.m. Pacific, a little early, 1 hour later than last week. So that will help a little bit. But again, definitely excited to be able to see what they have in store for us. You know, Ray Phoenix has signed the deal, so we may end up seeing him, you know, with a surprise visit. You know, even though we have a feeling that he's already been visiting for the last few shows. And then you're going to get Braun Breaker versus Penta, you know, for the IC title and a few other matches. And again, the way that Raw and SmackDown and NXT have been flowing lately, it wouldn't really be that shocking if we end up getting a belt change. It seems like we have been getting more belt changes on the regular weekly shows than just waiting for a PLE to come and then having a belt change then. So always keeping us on our toes, Triple H, Stephanie, and company, and I love it. Yeah, 1 o'clock Pacific. We're kind of winding down to the end of the European tour, which we've been at, you know, many cities already. But again, we're still going to have a few more of those particular shows at that time. So. Like we got a show tomorrow at 1. Next week, it'll be at noon for another European show. And then when we get back to April 7th, then we'll be back at normal time at 5 o'clock Pacific. And plus, the European crowds are fantastic. You know, it's a breath of fresh air. Usually we get like a European or Canadian crowd once every few months. But to be able to have, you know, back-to-back shows to get that vibe, whether it be Barcelona or Brussels, pretty cool. And again, it definitely gives you that energy. And, you know, those type of matches, if they were in the United States, especially that last main event on Raw with the Street Profits winning, it would have been maybe like a 7. But the crowd, you know, being involved, you know, and trying to be able to give you that energy, definitely lifted, you know, that show overall with that crowd, you know, giving you that energy and that vibe and that aura that we all, you know, hope for every time that we watch. 16 laps in here out of stage 1, 80 laps. Blaney, Bowman, Berry, Briscoe, and Gragson. A lot of B's up front. Byron, Cindric, Allmendinger, Wallace, Logano, with Buescher in 11th on the outside looking in. Chase, hopefully we can go from last time they had it, you know, through the commercial break. He was sitting around 15th, and hopefully he'll be able to move up from there. But now has worked his way back down a spot to 16th. Come on, Chase. You work into the school library till 3? Nice. So you'll be able to make it then. It'll give you just enough time to walk home and get settled in and come say hello. But since, you know, football ended, you know, I feel like my racing love has really come out into its own. You know, I never would watch the, you know, Truck Series or Xfinity on a regular basis, but I've really dove in, you know, head first, and I've really enjoyed it. And it's also given me an opportunity to learn more, you know, about the drivers in those particular series, you know, whether it's the Truck Series and Craftsman or the Xfinity Series, as well as the Cup. Cup, I'm pretty, you know, well-versed. But you can always learn more when you watch the trucks in the Xfinity, and I've had a lot of fun doing them. Yeah, Blaney's car looks just weird. Dent Wizard? It's almost like a poor man's like Napa car, you know, out there with the color scheme with the white and the yellow and the blue, but it looks ugly. Doesn't look good at all. But hey, the car might not be the most eye-appealing, right? But again, Ryan Blaney as a driver is magnificent. You know, at any given moment, you know, he can win a race, and I would not be shocked if he doesn't win another championship within the next 5 or 6 years. Now, there's going to be a lot of competition. You know, Joey Logano already's got 3. You know, obviously the Hendrick Motorsports crew, you know, with Kyle and Chase, and obviously, you know, William Byron. They're going to be very thirsty and whatnot, as we got Reddick and Elliott with their cars looking like Hot Wheels there. You remember back in the day when they had those Hot Wheels that changed colors, where you could dip them in to hot water and cold water, and then you could end up having like half the car look one color and half. That's what the Bubba Wallace car kind of reminds me of, right next to Chase. Chase is like the regular car. Then you have the color, you know, rush kind of version of the car where you could dip it into that water and have it change. I need to go dig through my collection to see if I can find any of those. I didn't have too many of those color changing Hot Wheels or Matchbox cars. Or, you know, I'm not sure if they did it with the micro machines as well. But that's definitely the vibe that I'm getting in this particular race with some of these cars. Very cool. Blaney, Bowman, Berry, Briscoe just passing Berry there. Gragson in your top 5. Byron, Cindric, Allmendinger, Wallace, and Logano in your top 10. Where are you at, Chase? Napa, no how. Chase in 16th. Let's go, baby. Mooney first. "22 laps in here in stage 1. No cautions yet. 1 lead change from Blaney to Bowman. Pretty clean racing. No wrecks early on just yet. All bees, baby. I mean, races go relatively fast when you don't have cautions and you don't have weather delays. It's still going to end up being 2 to 3 hours, but I feel sometimes when the racing is pretty clean, you can have a 2 to 3 hour race feel like an hour. It doesn't really feel like that long. So yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that's crazy. 14 years old, all on vacation from hell. And it's not only he became ill, it's some of the other family members as well. Duke with the missed dunk there. Odin, are you going to be able to chill tomorrow and watch Raw with me at 1 Pacific? I know it'll be 4 your time in New York, but that I always look ahead throughout the week to see what events are going to be going on and whatnot. So yeah, and like I said, don't be shocked when you start to see a lot of these, high seed teams struggle. Because again, there isn't really a dominant team. No one can say for sure that Auburn is better than everyone, or Duke or Florida is better than everyone. A lot of these teams are going to get tested, and you're going to get a couple teams, in the Final Four that are top teams. But I would not be shocked if you end up getting, like a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seed, like a little bit lower of a number instead of just 1 seeds and 2 seeds. It's not going to be that every single year. Sometimes we get 1s and 2 seeds, and that's all we get. And maybe like a 3, mixed in, but every once in a while, you'll end up getting 1 or 2 a little bit lower seeds that, get hot at the right time. And Duke struggling early on with Baylor. All right, good to hear. But Braun Breaker and Penta for the Penta Continental Championship. Let's go. Dragon Lee versus Chad Gable. I love that. Probably see Ray Phoenix at some point since he signed. Maybe he runs in and helps Penta win. The Intercontinental Championship, and we'll see if they end up, bringing them in as a tag, or if they have Ray Phoenix as a single wrestler to start off with Penta early on. We'll have to wait and see. But Phoenix has officially signed with WWE yesterday. So even though, I think we have seen him already kind of, in the shows where everyone thought it was Chad Gable, but I went back and I was looking at kind of side-by-side photos of the mask and kind of like, the features of the face, and it lines up with Ray Phoenix. I'm pretty sure that's who that was, when we had the Chad Gable incident and whatnot, obviously, the run in and obviously, backstage and whatnot with the interviews that we saw. But it's going to be sweet. And I don't expect them to give the same type of love to Penta, to Ray Phoenix, based off intro and, theme music and pyro and everything. But hopefully they do it the right way. And, Penta can still go for a singles run while having a tag partner. We'll see kind of how that ends up, kind of, developing as we get into Monday Night Raw tomorrow. Blaney, Bowman, Barry, Allmendinger, and Wallace in the top 5. Zane Smith and my guy Napa No How. Me and Britt love some Chase Elliott up in 7th place. Larson in 8th. Gibbs in 9th. Austin Dillon in 10th. Let's go Chase. Yeah, that would make sense, to be able to put another star over there on SmackDown. I wouldn't mind to be able to see the Lucha Bros come together, though. I mean, you could always have them fight each other first, if you want to go that route. But again, if one's going to be on Raw and one's going to be on SmackDown, they may be just going singles career with each one until later, and then they could link up as the Lucha Bros at some given point. So, yes. Yeah, I'm curious to see what we get with that as well. Makes you kind of wonder with like Rusev and Miro and some of these guys, going back and forth with AEW and WWE. 34 laps in out of 80 here in stage 1, and this has been the cleanest race that I've seen so far in 2025. I mean, we're 34 laps in, no cautions, 3 lead changes, no wrecks, no spin outs, nothing crazy yet. Yeah, and plus, I mean, if you're already getting an Intercontinental Championship chance, and obviously he's very over, just like Jey Uso and a few others. So, yeah, they're not going to put them together in the beginning, but at some point, the Lucha Bros will be formed. And I think they're able to use the name. It's still something that they can use, not just trademarked for AEW only. So, and Penta has shown that, he can do singles. And obviously they marketed him probably the best out of any AEW guy coming in besides, Cody Rhodes, being with the company, leaving the company, and coming back to the company. Zane Smith made up a lot of ground there, leading the race, getting that clean air. Larson, Elliott, let's go. Chase in 3rd. Gibbs in 4th. Austin Dillon in 5th. Hamlin, Todd Gilliland, Ricky Spittenhouse Jr. in 8th. Ty Dillon in 9th, and Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG, in 10th. Big Bad Brad in 11th. On the outside looking in, Baylor giving Duke all they can handle, 24-23. I see you. Yeah, we still need to pit. But again, since the race has been so clean so far, you can kind of take a chance and try to pit a little bit later. So I don't mind them waiting. Yeah, I mean, Kyle Larson is a master of it, and he was very good in the trucks and the Xfinity. The high line is going to be the fast line. It's not going to be as hard on the tires there at Homestead. But again, some drivers are more comfortable, being in the middle towards the bottom. But really, the speed at Homestead is going to be that high line, hugging that wall. But if you get too close, right, you end up wrecking. But again, you're always going to see Larson, as you can see there, hugging that wall, and he'll be hugging the wall more than anybody else here today. Larson in 1st. Zane Smith in 2nd. Chase in 3rd. Let's go, baby. 38 laps in here in stage 1. And it's crazy, too, because if you look at all the other cars, nobody's hugging the wall like Kyle. Some people are trying to get kind of close to the wall, but they don't feel comfortable up there because they may feel that they're going to wreck, or, they don't want to end their day early, just trying, to gain a couple extra seconds. But again, that's the difference when you end up running the trifecta. When you run the trucks, when you run the Xfinity, and you have all of that experience and comfort, as well as all of the past history at this track for Larson. But again, they're going to be showing him quite often, whether he's in front or if he's in the middle of the pack. Look at that, 626 laps led at Miami. And I can't believe he lost yesterday, but again, when someone stalls on a restart, again, that really killed his chances, and he was leading, and if they didn't have that caution at the very end, he would have won that race also, and would have ended up completing, 2 out of the 3, and obviously up front, in the top 5 for a majority of the day today, I would assume that he'll have a good chance to win this race as well. Halfway to stage 1. Probably start to see a few other cars start to pit here. There we go. Larson hitting the pits. Much love and respect to the guys in the pit crew. That would be a fun job to have. Stressful as hell. You would have to be strong. You would have to be smart. And then obviously any type of mistake could be devastating for the driver. But obviously being a driver would be the most fun. But I think being a part of a team and being a part of a pit crew would be a hell of a lot of hard work, but some good fun out of it as well. Especially if you ended up having an elite driver where you could celebrate at the end once in a while in victory lane with the driver. Cooper Flag at the line. Game knotted up at 24. Blaney, Bowman, Byron, Gregson, and Briscoe in your top 5. Logano, Busher, Allmendinger, Wallace, and Cindric in your top 10, with Tyler Reddick in the Toyota on the outside looking in 11th. Yeah, strong too. Especially if you're going to, end up being a tire changer. I mean, you don't have to have as much strength, maybe to, be a gas man and whatnot, or a jack guy, but it's all technique. And, sometimes you'll end up getting guys that played college football that know that maybe they're not going to be able to make the NFL, and then they end up going into NASCAR. They had Alvin Kamara, AK-41, trying to be able to, because obviously being involved in NASCAR, and he has been for a last few years, and being able to show some of the brothers and sisters that, hey, this is a good opportunity, especially if you can't make it to the NFL, that you might be able to go here and have a very lucrative career. Cooper Flag with the offensive foul. Big elbow there. You can't be doing that, Cooper. Flag with 2 fouls already. 1 more and he'll be on the bench, since you only get 5 in college. I got to throw up some Chase Love. Got to get a top 10 finish, hopefully top 5, hopefully in the winner's circle, but it's been pretty challenging. Bowman Gray, starting off the season with a win, but even though it wasn't for points, was a good start. But again, we need to be able to get some, additional points, and he's been doing good overall, this season, but a nice throwback to the 24 there. Napa know-how. Let's go. Cole in the building. What's good? 28-24 Duke. They're having their hands full, just like Florida did with UConn. Games are not going to be easy, even if you go against 8 and 9 seeds. Looking forward to Oregon and Arizona later tonight. Oh, baseball night in America. Next Saturday, Mets, Astros, Braves, Padres. Mariners opening the season off with the A's on Thursday. Very excited about that. Ready to get back to doing baseball on the channel. Blaney, Bowman, Byron, Gregson, Briscoe, Logano, Allmendinger, Cindric, Busher, and Bubba Wallace in your top 10. Ryan Blaney leading 33 of the first 48, 49 laps. Briscoe in that Bass Pro Shops car. Still always used to feeling, Martin Truex Jr. in a ride like that, but Bowman in second. Can't miss his car on the track. Definitely gives you that Homestead vibe. 52 laps in, 28 to go until stage 1 is completed. 5 lead changes, no cautions. Again, this has been probably the cleanest race that we have seen in 2025 here, at least on the Cup side. Duke with an early lead, 29-24 there in the first with about 5 minutes to go. Versus Larson and Elliott, 18th and 19th. Come on, baby. Blaney's car might be a little ugly today, but hey, getting that clean air, he's looking good. And then they're doing a live look in there with Larson. He'll make his way back up to the front. He's been very, very good this weekend. Trucks, Xfinity, and we'll see where he ends up at the end of the day here in the Cup. Come on, Chase. Yeah, I think, like I said, this is the first time that we've gone this many laps in 2025 on the Cup where we haven't really had any, issues. Usually there's always someone spinning out or 1 or 2 cars getting into a minor wreck, to kind of, have a little bit of a restart with everything, but pretty clean. But I don't think we're going to stay clean the whole race. We're still going to end up having, a couple wrecks. We'll see if the tires, become an issue, towards the end of the race, but everyone's just trying to find that right line for their car. Not everyone feels comfortable on that high line. Ooh, a little bit bumping there. Cindric is loose. Bubba Wallace and Cindric bumping each other. Josh Berry just observing behind them. $57 laps completed. 23 to go until stage 1 ends. Duke starting to pour it on a little bit. 31-24 over Baylor. But the free throw disparity is pretty big. Duke has already been to the line, 13 times? Baylor only once or twice. Less than 4:30 to go, 31-24 Duke. And this game kind of reminds me a little bit of the Creighton game yesterday, where you get one team that's going to be shooting a lot of threes, Baylor, and then Duke will be, pounding the rock inside. And again, you want to make sure you have a good shooting percentage, and Duke can shoot from deep as well. But again, you making sure that you're attacking the paint. Eventually those teams that are strong there, end up typically winning 90% of the time. Unless you can keep that hot streak going in the first half and the second half from deep. But most of the time, as you see in the tourney, teams that are hot in the first half, they usually cool down a little bit in the second after adjustments are made defensively from the team that, might be winning or, slightly losing going into half. .62 laps in, 18 to go here in stage one. .17 to go. Blaney, Bowman, Byron, Gregson, and Briscoe in your top 5. Logano, Almadinger, Barry, Wallace, and Reddick in your top 10. Very clean race here to start off. No cautions, no spin outs, no wrecks. Very odd, but again, it makes for some good racing, at least early on, but I would assume we'll end up having a little bit more action with some wrecks and some bumping as we get into stage 2. 31-24 Duke, up by 7 on Baylor for March Madness. .16 to go here until stage 1 is up. 80 laps out of the 267 here today. Weather is nice, shouldn't be an issue at all here at Homestead. Larson moving up the field. I need Chase to follow him, but he's stuck back there at 19th. Come on, Chase. .14 to go in stage 1. Nice pass there from Larson on Reddick there to get him in 10th. Moving his way back up to the top 5. Taylor at the free throw line. Free throw is good. 33-27 Duke. Appreciate that. It always takes one person to kind of get things going, so I appreciate it. What do you want to do for a photo or two? Sarah with a $5. And hopefully we get a few more people to come through to show some love. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang. $5 holla. 95 to go. Appreciate you. Always getting that first one within the first hour or even before a stream starts is ideal, to be able to, have potential to be able to hit the goal, or at least, until any other individuals come through. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. We got 11 laps to go here in stage 1. All right, I got you. I got a couple photos here loading up for you. Appreciate you. Should be a good fit for your guys' team there in the secondary. Appreciate you. We're at 5:95 to go. Try to give you some newer ones that compared to some of the other ones that we did in the past there for you. Yeah, love me some Talladega. One of my favorites. All right. Caution is out. Got 9 laps to go in stage 1. I mean, we knew a caution, it would be very crazy to go through 80 laps and not have at least one caution, but they almost made it. If we ended up having it being like, 60, 65 laps in stage 1, it would have happened, but. Eight laps to go. Bowman, Byron, Gregson, Logano, Barry in your top 5. Cindric, Hocevar, Haven't seen his name up here into the top 10 until now. Haley, Suarez, and Ross Chastain. Haven't seen him in the top 10 either. 37-30, Duke up by 7 on Baylor with a couple minutes to go before the first half. Nice when we can end up watching more than one event. And I don't know, like I said, if I'll have the energy to do Oregon and Arizona late tonight, but there is a possibility. Kind of just depends on how Paisley is doing, and if I have enough time to go for another 30 to 45 minute walk with her. Blaney in the pits. And then we'll be doing Monday Night Raw at 1 o'clock Pacific tomorrow. Looking forward to that as well. Glasgow, little Drew McIntyre country. They always bring the energy there for wrestling. And I feel like not only have I got like fully invested, with racing, I feel like wrestling has kind of, been so good that I find myself going out of my normal way to watch NXT, to watch SmackDown. I mean, I'm already doing the Raw thing and the PLEs, but to do SmackDown and NXT a little bit more regularly, that's when something is really, really good. When you're going out of your way to try to watch the full show, on all 3 of those shows throughout the week. So, and I don't see them slowing down anytime soon. Duke up by 10 with less than 2 minutes to go, starting to pull away. 7 lead changes, 3 caution laps, and 1 caution there. Blazers have the Celtics here in a couple hours. Could get ugly, but you never know. Blazers have been playing better ball as of late. They're only 7 games below 500, which is not good, but again, considering how the season started, again, they're trying their best to get to 500, and they may be able to get into the play-in. They're only, a couple games back, so hopefully they can make it competitive. But if the Blazers end up getting blown out, that would not shock me. But hopefully for the fans in Portland, they'll put on a show and play well. Another event that I'll have to turn on and watch a little bit of. A lot going on here on this Sunday. Free throw is good by Duke, 41-30, with 1:39 to go before half. No surprises. Martinsville next Sunday. And again, with the Mariners season starting off on Thursday, obviously some things are going to have to be scaled back, but I'm still going to try to mix in a little bit of Monday Night Raw, a little bit of NASCAR Cup Series at least. We might not be able to do the trucks and the Xfinity as often as I would like, but that's okay. That's just something I can watch on my free time, or I can watch at the same time as the Mariners if I stream. And probably a little less of the Blazers and the Kraken, but definitely excited to see what the Mariners can do here in 2025. Six laps to go here in stage 1. Very clean green flag racing here today. All right, 5 laps to go here in stage 1. Blaney, Bowman, Byron, Gregson, Briscoe, Allmendinger, Cindric, McDowell, Gregson, Barry, Wallace on the outside looking in. Where the hell is Chase at? 15th. Come on, Chase. All right, here we go. 4 laps to go. Let's see who will end up getting stage points. More than likely, it'll be Ryan Blaney, but Bowman will have a chance. Five wide. Holy moly. Oh. I mean, 3 wide is something, but then you get 4 wide and 5 wide. Looked like Bubba might have nicked the wall there. Two to go. Blaney, Bowman, Briscoe, Larson, and Byron in your top 5. Cindric, Allmendinger, Barry, Gregson, Wallace in your top 10. Duke up 41-30 with an official review. A couple cars getting loose here after the caution. Some on old tires, some on those newer tires, depending on when they pitted. You can definitely tell who pitted early and who pitted late. 2 to go. Yeah, well, when you got somebody laying on top of you, sometimes, things happen, I don't really see anything wrong with him pushing the leg off when he's trying to get up, especially when the player on top of him didn't make an effort to get off. You can't just be fucking laying on somebody. Any natural response is if you're on top of somebody, you get off, and you let that person breathe and move around, and not just laying on them. And sometimes that can be calculated. Final lap. Blaney's like, give me those points, baby. My car might be ugly today, but I got that clean air. Give it to me. Yeah, too bad there's not more superstars, in the women's and men's game. It's pretty thin, this year. And there you go. Blaney wins stage 1. Bowman and Briscoe right behind him. Nice job, Blaney. We need 2 more likes to be able to get to 10. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Hopefully we can get into the algorithm at some point or another. Duke really pulling away. 47-30 at half. No chance for Baylor. And that's exactly what you want to see from your 1 seed. You know, I want to see something like that out of Auburn, but I don't know if you can do it. You know, I don't know if they're on the same level, even though they are, you know, the 1 seed and they've been ranked number 1. I don't get the same vibes when I watch Auburn, when I watch Duke, or even sometimes when I watch Florida, even though they did struggle with UConn today. But I know there's like 3 perfect brackets left out of like 24 million. 2 people that have a perfect bracket up to this point have Duke winning it all, and then 1 has Alabama winning it. So I would assume that person that has Alabama will be eliminated, and we'll figure out if we'll end up even having a perfect bracket. You know, it's not likely to happen. You know, again, at some point, someone's going to lose, you know, for their bracket to be completely busted, but I would not be shocked if Duke ends up winning it all. To me, they're the best team in the tourney, you know, regardless if they're a 1 seed or not, you know, and even though they are, you know. They seem like they're the most well-rounded team from top to bottom, and they have the best player in the country. That always helps. All right, we're in stage 2, 3 laps in out of 85 laps, 83 out of 267. 2 cautions, 7 lead changes, 7 caution laps. Blaney, Bowman, Briscoe, Larson, Cindric, Byron, Allmendinger, Berry, Cragson, Logano with Hamlin in 11th. Where the hell is Chase in 14th? And again, I don't know what it is. You know, I feel like anytime Chase races in a car that's not Napa, he doesn't do very good. You know, like sometimes, you know, even in the Napa car, it'll be kind of an off day, you know, but I always feel that whenever it's the all white, the blue and the yellow, the white and the blue, or the all blue, you know, I feel like with the Napa scheme, he just races better. You look good, you feel good, you race good. And I feel anytime we end up doing these like other sponsors, you know, it just doesn't typically work out for Chase. We're at 5, 95 to go. Everybody coming in. Bowman, Cindric, Larson, Blaney, everyone's coming into the pits here. Oh, big spin out there on pit road. Holy shit. I haven't seen that in a minute. 2 cars got spun all the way around. Joey Logano, he's not even going in the right direction there. Holy cow. I don't think I've seen 2 cars kind of tap into each other and then flip each other around where they're facing the wrong direction on pit road. That's a first here in 2025. 4 wide, and that's what happened. Logano and Berry go out at the same time, and then they get nicked there by Larson. Wow. Not ideal there for Joey Logano or Josh Berry. He's like, all right, let me turn around here. Osavar, Bowman, Blaney, Bell, Byron, Cindric, Allmendinger, Gregson, Larson, Hamlin in your top 10. Next game in March Madness will be on in an hour for Illinois and Kentucky. After that, St. Mary's and Bama, Colorado State and Maryland, Ole Miss and Iowa State, New Mexico and Michigan State, and then at the end of the night, Oregon and Arizona. Definitely going to be watching that. Go Ducks. Oh, they actually have a Mariner link up. Oh, awesome. I didn't think I was going to be able to watch this Mariner game. That's why it's always good to be able to check. I mean, even though it obviously is spring training, but still, I mean, to be able to watch my team or not watch my team, let me watch. Top of the first, 0-0. All right, let's see who the lineup is today. Julio, Cal, Randy, Luke Rayleigh, Polo, Telez, Crawford, Sundstrom, Astroboni. Okay. Bryce Miller on the mound. Let's go Mariners. Well, I'm going to be following that now. Good thing I checked. All right. Got the Brewers and the Mariners on. Perfect. In a minute, like I said, they don't usually televise too many of the matchups. All right, we got Julio coming up on deck. Let's go J-Rod. First pitch to Julio, in there for a strike. Come on, Julio. Yeah, not really a surprise for the Haniger. He could hit pretty good, at home, but, he wasn't really the greatest player, and, we need to be able to get younger. And, again, there's quite a few people that, I think Mariner fans would not be that upset if we ended up releasing and whatnot. But Cole with a $5, appreciate you. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. Appreciate you. Go M's and go Bell. It's crazy. We haven't seen Christopher Bell's name in the top 10 all day yet, which is a little weird. But hopefully we'll be able to see the camera on Bell's car at some point today. Appreciate you, Cole. Appreciate you, Sarah. 88 laps in here out of 267. I got the Brewers and the Mariners on. Duke manhandling Baylor. We'll see if I do Oregon and Arizona later tonight. I don't know if I'll have the energy or the time, since the thumbnail will probably take me a half hour to an hour to make, and we'll have to see how my voice is feeling. Then we'll be doing Monday Night Raw at 1. But I do have a feeling that Oregon-Arizona game will be one of the best of the overall weekend. I think it's going to be very neck and neck, and I think the winner of that matchup could be by 6 points or less. Could be a barn burner, and either team could win. Arizona is heavily favored, but I like Oregon's chances with Biddle and the team that we have this year. All right, here we go. Green flag. Yes, congrats to Oscar on that F1 victory there. Christopher Bell got the free pass. The first time I've heard his name all stream here today. 2 away there. Appreciate you. Wow, Hamilton was DQ'd? Really? Did you get a chance to watch the whole race, or did you only watch pieces of it? 0-0, bottom of the first, 2 outs, 3-2 count with a runner at second. Luke Rayleigh in the box. Let's go, Luke. 16 laps in here in stage 2, 96 laps out of 267. Blaney, Bowman, Hamlin, Byron, Wallace in your top 5. Hocevar, Gregson, Cindric, Nampa, no how. Chase in 9th. Let's go. Allmendinger in 10th. Larson in 11th. Let's go, baby. You know what it is. Let's go, baby. Do it for Bill. And a big strikeout by Rayleigh, and that is the end of the first inning. Brewers and Mariners knotted up at 0. Come on, Mariners. $67 laps to go here in stage 2. Pretty clean race overall. We haven't had that big wreck or even a minor wreck, so to speak, just yet. Judah in the building. How are you? I'm doing good. Watching a little bit of March Madness, watching the Mariners and the Brewers. and obviously doing this NASCAR Cup Series race, the straight talk wireless 400 at Homestead. Weather is good. It's been very, very clean. The biggest thing that's happened is two cars kind of bumping into each other on pit road with Josh Berry and Joey Logano. But other than that, and they both got spun around the opposite direction. But other than that, it's not really been any big wrecks or any spinouts to mention. But I do feel that we will get them, obviously, in stage 2, maybe towards the end, and then in stage 3. So, Oregon plays against Arizona. They beat the brakes off of Liberty, and it's going to be definitely very difficult to beat Arizona today, a 5 seed Oregon, 4 seed Arizona. And if I have enough energy after streaming this and then taking Paisley for a long walk, and if I have time to make a thumbnail, which will probably take me an hour, I might be able to do Oregon and Arizona later tonight. And then we'll be doing Monday Night Raw at 1 o'clock Pacific tomorrow in Glasgow, Scotland, Drew McIntyre country. So part of their European tour, so the timing is going to be a little bit different. And then next week, we also have an early Raw around noon. And then after next week, then it goes back to being, in the States, and we'll be at regular time. Opening day, March 27th. A's and Mariners, let's go. Yeah, and if I don't stream the game, you best believe I'll be screaming at my TV and definitely watching, just like I did with Oregon and Liberty. So, nice pitch there by Bryce Miller in their first strike. We're at double digits. We're at 10 likes. We need 10 more to get to 20. Hopefully we get a few more people to come through and hang out. "103 laps completed." Blaney, Hamlin, Bowman, Byron, Bubba Wallace in your top 5. Carson Hocevar, Austin Cindric, Chase Elliott, Nampa, no hell in 8th. Gregson in 9th, and Allmendinger in 10th. Let's go, Chase. Yeah, we're on a little bit of a hot streak. We're only a couple games out of the play-in. Again, we're still like 7-8 games below 500, but we've been making some strides, even though we've had some injuries, to certain individuals. We got your Celtics here today at home. I don't really know how that will play out. I mean, realistically, Boston should win, but if the Blazers keep playing like they've played in the last 4 games, it might be closer than people think, and we might be able to upset, Boston here today. They play in about an hour and a half, and I will be putting that on and watching as well. That man in the building, what's good? Oh, really? That's big news. But I always love it when you can have like a weekend where you have like 3, 4, 5 things going on where, you could be pleasantly entertained. I got a little March Madness going on here. I got the Mariners and Brewers on, even though it's spring training. It's kind of one of the last games, as we get to the regular season on Thursday for a lot of us. Then we got NASCAR Cup. It's a very pleasant day of a little bit of everything. If you like basketball, you're good. You like baseball, you're good. You like racing, you're good. All bases are covered here today. Now, obviously, if I can get the Mariners, the Ducks, and the Blazers all to win in the same day, then that would be the trifecta, but I'm not holding my breath. But I just hope the Blazers play well with the Celtics. I hope Oregon, has an amazing, game here tonight against Arizona, but I know it's going to be tough. Arizona's favored, but Oregon has been playing well, just like the Blazers as of late. And obviously anything in spring training, I get it, it's spring training, but would love to, kind of finish spring training strong. Bryce Miller on the mound looking good. And we'll see if Chase Elliott can do something here as well. What's going on with you, Judah? How are the cats? Everything good to go there? Blaney, Hamlin, Bowman, Byron, Wallace, Cindric, Kosovar, Elliott, Larson, and Suarez in your top 10. I love seeing Elliott and Larson there side by side, and hopefully they can keep moving up the pack. Let's go. $54 laps to go. I'm going to go check up on my pup. I imagine she's sleeping on the couch and whatnot, but let me go check up on her real quick. Give me a second. Oh, are we hitting the algorithm? Maybe I won't. Are we hitting the algorithm? We'll see what kind of boost that we can get. Hopefully a good one. There we go. So you never know when the algorithm will come through. Like, you might have 20 people or less, you might have 10 people or less, and then at any given moment, you can jump up, to a certain number, and we'll see if they'll do your boy a solid here today. Blaney, Hamlin, Bowman, Byron, and Bubba Wallace in your top 5. Cindric, Kosovar, Elliott, Larson, Suarez in your top 10. We're at 10:90 to go. And we'll see if the algorithm will bless us, which they have quite a few times already in 2025. It may just be momentarily. It could end up being, for the remainder of the stream, part of the stream, but anything that we can get will be definitely pleasantly appreciated. And that's how you go from 15 to 204. Let's go. And like I said, when people hear me talk about the algorithm, they think I'm just making it up. But again, I know how YouTube works. And again, the more individuals that are going to comment, smash the like button, donate, all the things that, they look for in the algorithm, you never know where that jump is going to come. And even if things look a little, low, at any given moment, it can spike, and you can go from 5 to 20, 20 to 50. 50 to 100, 100 to 300, 300 to 500, 500 to 1,000. And then you can even get over 2,000. And then that might end up even going to a higher number. We've been able to hit some pretty big numbers. So we got Brewers and Mariners no longer tied up. Jorge Polanco has actually been playing well. I don't know if he got LASIK or got his eyes checked, but he hasn't been striking out as often as he did last year. Solo dinger by Polanco, 1-0 Mariners. Let's go. Yeah, Panthers fan in the building. And again, recommendations, it's all about getting recommended, to not only your followers, but to strangers and, looky-loos and people that are just looking. And again, we've been able to get the boost on Oregon Duck streams, some Mariner streams, and obviously with the NASCAR side as well. So what's good, Panthers fan? How's your weekend going? 1-0 Mariners over the Brewers. We got a few more laps to go here, 48 more to go for stage 2. Blaney, Hamlin, Cindric, Larson, Napa, no how. Chase Elliott in the Uni here today in the top 5. Suarez, Gregson, Bowman, Priest, and William Byron in your top 10. Zane Smith on the outside looking in. I mean, I was going to go check up on Paisley and take a quick break, but then the algorithm hit, so. And you never know how high it can go. I mean, it can go all the way up to 2, 3, 4, 5,000. You know, you never know where it will stop, so. You got anybody in the draft that would be like a dream for you to be able to get? You got your eyes on anybody in the draft that would be you thinking that would be a good fit for your team this year? We got some leaders here going into the pits here at Homestead for the Straight Talk Wireless 400 here in Miami. Bubba Wallace there into the pit. There goes Bowman. Now Blaney coming into the pits. There we go. Rowdy Tellez with a double. We'll take that, baby. I like Rowdy. He should be on the team. He's money. Duke up 55-40 over Baylor. That one's already over. Now, thin at linebacker. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get a good number in the stream. Obviously, hit the algorithm, but we'll see how long we can stay in it, and hopefully a decent amount of time. Shout out to all the newbies and all of the people that got, obviously, this particularly recommended. And we'll be shooting, obviously, to try to hit the goal, not only with the likes, but with the donos as well. $1,169. I like that, baby. I'm going to adjust this so that way we can see the leaderboard correctly. IndyCar race back on. Hamlin, Larson, Suarez, Busher, Zane Smith in your top 5. Josh Berry, Big Bad Brad, Eric Jones, Joey Logano, and Ty Dillon in your top 10. And we have a Christopher Bell sighting there for Cole. He's in 11th, and this is the first time that he's even smelled the top 10 after working his way from the middle of the pack in the back towards the front. Nice job for Christopher Bell. We'll see if he can keep it up. All right, no worries, man. That 4 cups of coffee will get you. No worries, man. Feel better. Get some rest, my guy. I know we'll be doing Monday Night Raw tomorrow early, so I'll be looking forward to spending some time and hanging with you where we have Raw in Glasgow, Scotland, the home of Drew McIntyre. Mariners up 1-0 on the Brewers. We got 41 laps to go here in the stage 2. 2 cautions. It's been really clean racing so far here. You know, not a lot of big wrecks, 5 to 10 cars. Hell, we haven't even had a minor wreck yet with like 1 to 2 cars really yet. So at some point, you know, we're going to get one, but it may end up coming down to someone's tires blowing and then spinning out rather than a mechanical failure, but we'll find out. Oh, I see Chase in that lead first, baby. Come on, Chase. Chase in 17th. Work your way up, mate. Now 18th. Come on, Chase. What other things do you follow on a regular basis, Panthers fan, besides just the Carolina Panthers? Do you follow anything else on a regular basis, like baseball or basketball or anything else? Or is it primarily just football? Hamlin going into the pits. Masterboni, the former Cub, in the box. Mariners up 2-0 on the Brew Crew. Let's fucking go. Uh-oh, spinner. Who is that, Suarez? Wow, Suarez. I don't know what the hell is going on in the pits, but you're getting people that are spinning out in the pits. It's not like it's slippery down there and it's, wet conditions based off rain. But again, we've seen more people have issues on pit road than actually on the track. That's crazy. Logano and Barry knocking into each other and then going backwards. And then now Suarez turning himself around in the pits. What the hell is going on here? Hurricanes, Hornets, and Blue Jays, huh? UNC for Tar Heels? Okay. $37 to go here in stage 2. Got another driver hitting the pits and another one. Barry and Logano, and they both had a little bit of a dust up earlier. But since there's not a lot of cars besides them, you wouldn't assume that they will have any issues there. But we just did see Suarez spin out there on pit road, so with not a lot of people around him. Kind of weird. But tires, obviously, if you're running on that low side, they're going to have more wear and tear than that high side. Julio in the box. Let's go, J-Rod. Panthers fan with a tour. Appreciate you. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack, bang, bang. And I think that there's going to be definitely some players that will quit. There'll be some players that will transfer because they can't handle, the, strict philosophy of Bill Belichick, but I would assume before he gets fired in, 1 to 4 years, I would assume that North Carolina should be, somewhat competitive. There are going to be some people that are going to want to play for him, knowing that they'll have a good chance of making the NFL, if Bill is the head coach. But again, they're going to have to, be open-minded and have discipline. And if you're not a disciplined player, it's not going to be a good fit, being at North Carolina. But it'll be cool seeing, Bill Belichick turn that program around a little bit, so to speak, and hopefully they do. What do you want to do for a photo or two, Panthers fan? Appreciate you. $2 holla from Panthers fan. You want to go Belichick? You want to go someone like Bryce Young, from the Panthers? You let me know what you want to do for a photo, and I got you. We're at 12:88 to go to hit the goal. Lawrence Taylor from college. Nice choice. They've had some nice defensive players in their time. Julius Pepper's another one as well. Let's go, baby. Ooh, look at that. I didn't think I was going to get one to convert, but at least we got one. Oh, look at that. That's cool. Let's see if I can find an old school black and white one for you. Oh, wow. Look at that. What a stud. Appreciate you, my guy. Hope you enjoyed those. Yeah. I mean, I got to watch him, and, again, there was a lot of things that he was doing, extracurricular. Some, players would drink and party, so to speak, and whatnot. And he was very popular with the ladies and partied a little bit too hard, but he could still go and play and, get 1, 2, 3 sack lunches in a game. And, one of the best defensive players to ever suit up, period. That's facts. Oh, I mean, if you're just looking at, a lot of the legends and the GOATs that played back in the day, I mean, Lawrence Taylor could play in any generation. There's a lot of guys that, kind of come to mind. I mean, if we're talking about like either DNs or linebackers, Urlacher, another guy that could have played in any generation. Luke Kuechly, another guy that could play in any generation. Patrick Willis, another one, so it kind of just depends. Derek Brooks, there's a lot of them that are out there, that could end up being amazing. Ronnie Lott at safety. I mean, some guys, are great in their own era, but there's others that could be playing today. But again, the rules have changed so dramatically where it was a little bit more physical, back in the day. And obviously they protect the quarterbacks a hell of a lot more now than they did back then. But, some of those legends and GOATs could play in any era. Facts. 2-0 Mariners in the top of the third. And we got, 27 laps to go here in stage 2. Blaney, Byron, Wallace, Bowman, Cindric in your top 5. Hamlin, Hocevar, Napa, no how. Chase Elliott in 8th. Larson in 9th. Allmendinger in 10th. Tyler Reddick in that Toyota on the outside looking in 11th. I mean, Barry Sanders is known as arguably the best running back of all time with a shitty offensive line. Best player they had was like Lomas Brown. I mean, if you put Barry on the Cowboys with that offensive line, he would have absolutely, demolished anything that Emmett did. Emmett was a great player, but he had like the best offensive line. Barry was more talented than Emmett, even though Emmett was great. But if Barry was on that team, he would have broke every fucking running back record known to man, period. But I can respect Barry, to go out on top, play 10 years, make 10 Pro Bowls, and then walk out on top. Normally you don't get too many guys to do that. Sandy Koufax, Barry Sanders, but there's always kind of a mystique that if you leave in your prime, you never had a bad year. You ended up being great for the 10 or 12 years that you played. You walk away, and then your legacy is intact. Instead of playing 20 years and then kind of being ass at the end and just trying to be able to break a record or make money, or going on to another team like Emmett did on the Cardinals, which was a little weird. But again, it's hard for some players to walk away, and guys like Megatron, Barry Sanders, Sandy Koufax, we don't really have an image of them ever getting old or sucking. They were always elite, and that's why their legacy is going to be justified for years to come. Logan Gilbert on the mic, top of the third, 2-0 Mariners. And we got 23 laps to go here in stage 2. 2 cautions, 15 lead changes, 12 caution laps. No big wrecks yet, but we're waiting. Yeah, Earl Campbell, beast. Walter Payton, beast. I mean, there's a lot of guys from back in the day that, the younger generation has no idea besides just YouTube. $23 to go. Chase in 9th. Come on, Chase. This is what I need. I mean, I got a taste of it at Bowman Gray, but it's been a minute. I need victory lane. I feel, obviously, there's always going to be bias, when someone, doesn't have a Super Bowl, under their belt compared to guys that do. But as far as, short receivers, one of the best of all time, he definitely had the dog in him. And, some people, when you say the name, would say, yeah, you should be in. Others, it's borderline, and whatnot. And, again, as long as he's on the ballot, eventually, he may get in, but you have to compare his numbers to all the other guys that have been snubbed to this point or have recently got in within the last 10 to 15 years. And then you have to look at the numbers compared to other receivers, and do they stack up, to the guys that are in the NFL? So that's one thing that I always will look at. When a guy hasn't made it just yet, you have to look at his numbers compared to all the other wide receivers that are in the Hall of Fame, and sometimes that'll give you your answer. If he has enough yards, has enough touchdowns, that he had the consistency. And again, you could argue maybe one of the best short receivers of all time. I don't think anyone could really argue that. I would take Steve Smith over D-Jax, if I'm being honest. I think Deshaun Jackson was good, but Steve Smith was better. And I would know because I'm, being a Buck fan, I had to deal with that, twice a year for many, many years, from Carolina. So I would know. $17 to go. Ryan Blaney. The paint scheme might be a little ugly today with an alternate brand and color, kind of looking like a knockoff Napa car, but he has been fast. He's been getting that clean air, and he's been very dominant. Blaney, Byron, Wallace. First time we've seen William Byron up in the top 2 positions. Wallace, Hamlin, Larson in the top 5. Bowman, Cindric, Hocevar, Elliott, Allmendinger in your top 10. You got everyone there in Hendrick Motorsports represented. Byron in 2nd, Larson in 5th, Bowman in 6th, and Elliott in 9th. Hendricks Motorsports, I see you. Oh, Mike Evans is Hall of Fame for sure. I think Godwin is Hall of Fame also, but again, we'll have to see what his numbers look like, when it's all said and done. And again, and Godwin won't be a guy that will probably get in first ballot. He might have to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 ballots, but I'm hoping Godwin, if he ends up staying healthy and can add on to his stat, line the rest of his career, I would love to be able to get both of those guys in there. But if we had to choose, obviously, who is the most deserving, well, Mike Evans is the best receiver we've ever had. Chris Godwin is the second best receiver we've ever had, and we're probably never going to have receivers as good as those two ever again. So, I'm definitely soaking in the moment, with Levante David coming back for maybe his last year and having Evans and Godwin for at least a little bit more, before we have to, start to rebuild. 15 laps to go here in stage 2. Now 14. Blaney in that Ford up front. Byron, Wallace, Hamlin, Larson in your top 5. Bowman, Cindric, Hocevar, Elliott, Allmendinger in your top 10. And the Brewers just tied up the game 2-2 against the Mariners. Come on, Bryce. Crank it up, which they should be doing more than once in a broadcast, if you ask me. Love cranking up, especially if you have a good surround sound system. Come on, Mariners, get out of this inning, Bryce. But this has definitely been one of the cleanest races that I've seen up to this point. We'll see if it stays true. And then Florida beat UConn by 2, so you're not going to end up having back-to-back-to-back champions. And Duke is mollywhopping Baylor 68-51. No chance for Baylor with 8 minutes to go. And then you got Illinois and Kentucky going to start in about 20 minutes. You're going to Rockingham? No way. You were at Bowman Gray? No way. Man, seeing Chase win, that would have been amazing. Yeah, and like I said, I've been streaming the trucks races and the Xfinity races also, here on the channel. So, but once we get into baseball season, obviously with the Mariners starting on Thursday, my goal was to do, 150 games out of 162. But again, I want to sprinkle in a little bit of Monday Night Raw and at least the Cup Series races on Sundays until football comes back, if I can, depending on when the Mariner game is on. So, and I might have to push a little bit and do 2 streams in a day on some, select days. But I'm definitely looking forward to baseball starting, and we're getting closer to the NFL draft. Everything is kind of coming full circle now. Yeah, we've been getting some good numbers with NASCAR on the Cup Series this year, and even with the Xfinity and the Truck Series, decent, so. But the Cup Series, we've been able to, hit the algorithm and get some good numbers, out of the Cup Series races for the most part. So, and obviously hitting the algorithm as often as you can is the goal, to gain more subs, more views, more likes, more donos, more growth on the channel, and, meeting new people as well. So, to be a part of the Fanatic family. But, we did get the boost a little bit with the Ducks a couple times this year, a few times with the Mariners last year. But, we're early into the season, and we've hit the algorithm on almost every stream. So that's a good sign, being this early into the season and, hitting the algorithm 3 out of 5 times or 4 out of the 5 times. I'll take that. Yeah, and sometimes, YouTube will adjust the numbers, after the fact, but, we had, somewhere into that 5 to 8,000 number, and it stayed like that for a while. And then they ended up taking away and readjusting, some of the views, whether they were bots or whatever it may have been, but, at one point or another, we were over 5, and then they had it like that for 2 or 3 days. And then after a few days passed, then it went down to like 1,000 something or whatever. So, I mean, I can't control, what YouTube does, based off the numbers on who's in the room and how many total views that we get. And if they get adjusted at the end, all I can do is just grind it out and hope for the best. So. But we've been able to hit some pretty good numbers, though. 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 8,000. Five laps to go. Bottom of the third, 2-2 Brewers and Mariners. Randy Arozarena with a big swing and a miss. 0 for 1, reached on an error. Come on, Randy. And we got 4 laps to go here in stage 2. A very, very clean race. And again, I don't mind races being pretty clean. I do prefer to have like a race that has a few big wrecks in it, as long as my favorite drivers aren't involved. But that's obviously a big ask. Sometimes when you end up having too long of green flag racing, it's like kind of just going through the motions, like when you watch the NHL or when you watch basketball, and everyone is just kind of going through the regular up and down grind and whatnot. But sometimes you need that extra excitement, and we'll see if we end up getting it here later in maybe stage 3. 3 to go in stage 2 here. Hamlin, Larson, Blaney, Byron, Wallace, Bowman, Cindric, Hocevar, Nampa, no how. My guy Chase Elliott in 9th, and Tyler Reddick in 10th. Chris Buescher on the outside looking in 11th. Larson going on that low end, and normally he's hugging that wall. Blaney and Larson going at each other. 2nd and 3rd place. I'd rather see Blaney in his, regular typical yellow 12. Just weird seeing him in this blue, white, and yellow kind of knockoff Napa car. But apparently it's working for him. He's been very good today. Hang on to it, Larson. Don't spin out. 2 to go. Jorge Polanco with a solo homer in the 2nd. Let's go, Polo. And he'll be playing 3rd base for the first time for us here in 2025. I don't know how that will work out, but at least so far it looks like the hitting has been corrected. I don't know if he got LASIK or got glasses or whatever it was, but it seems like a lot of the issues that he had are looks like they've been solved, at least so far here in spring training. We'll see if it carries over to the regular season. Stage wins at Miami all-time. Larson with 6, Hamlin at 3, 7 drivers at 1. Final lap here. And Hamlin, first stage win in a minute. Hamlin got those stage points. You need those. Just barely over Larson there. All right, we're going to have 101 laps to go, and we'll be on stage 3. Not a lot of wrecks, but hopefully we get some here in the last stage. Rowdy Tellez with a double and a run in the 2nd, 1 for 1. Runners at 1st and 2nd with 2 outs. 0-1 pitch from Hudson to Rowdy Tellez. Come on, Rowdy. I'm going to go check up on my pup here real quick. Give me 1 sec. Looks like the Mariners couldn't get any more in that inning. End of the third, 2-2. And now we're on stage 3. Duke up by 20 on Baylor. That's what I want to see out of Auburn and some of these other teams like Florida. If you got a 1 seed, can you beat the brakes off of somebody? Or are you barely winning? And again, I definitely have concerns for Florida and Auburn, but Duke manhandling Baylor, and that's exactly what you want to see out of a team that should be a champion at the end. $99 laps to go. Come on, Chase. Let's get into the top 5, baby. I need a Mariner win. I need a Blazer win. And I need an Oregon Duck win. Come on, baby. I need the trifecta. And then obviously if I can get Chase to win, then it would be a magical day. But not sure if his car is good enough to win, but might be able to get a top 5 finish. Top 3 if we're really lucky. The top of the 4th, and Bryce Miller is still out there, knotted up 2-2 with the Brew Crew. Let's go, M's. $98 laps to go. Let's go, baby. Lots of cars hitting the pits. All right, waiting for everyone to kind of cycle through this pit. Larson, Hamlin, Byron, Wallace, Bowman, Cindric, Elliott, Logano, Reddick, and Blaney. Napa, no how. Let's go, Chase. This is what I want. I don't know when we're going to get it, but I hope we get it at least once or twice, since Bowman Gray didn't count for points. But Duke is doing exactly what you expect a number 1 seed to do. And that's why I feel that they're better than Auburn in Florida, in my opinion. I think they're the best team in the tourney. All right, Miller gets out of that inning, going to the bottom of the fourth. Let's go M's. .96 laps to go. It's weird to see the graph at the top of the screen with all that green and such little yellow. I mean, I'm not complaining. I mean, obviously it makes the streams go by a lot faster, but I mean, anyone that is a true fan of racing loves directs. You know, that's a big part of NASCAR. And as long as your favorite driver isn't involved. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. But I would still love to be able to see a big 5 to 10 car pile up at some point. But I might be asking too much at this stage in the race. Larson, Hamlin, Byron, Wallace, Bowman, Cindric, Elliott, Reddick, Blaney, and Briscoe heavily dominated by Hendrick Motorsports in first place, third place, fifth place, and seventh place. And obviously Chase's car is the worst out of everyone, you know, on the Hendrick Motorsport crew. Obviously had to start further back than anyone else. But with that being said, if Chase can hang in that top 10, you never know what could possibly happen, especially late in the race. AM in the building. What's good? I'm watching the Mariners play the Brewers. Usually a lot of those games are not televised for spring training. And we will be live on Thursday for the A's and the Mariners in the season opener at 7:10. And I know that you will be here if you can. So definitely excited to see what the crew can do here today. And obviously on opening day against the A's. Want to start off strong, and hopefully Logan Gilbert, a.k.a. Walter, will get us that victory. And, you know, I'm not really worried about Logan Gilbert. I just want to see our players hit this year, you know. And, again, if we can hit like we did in spring training as one of the top 2 hitting teams out of 30, you know, again, that could be huge. You know, we could end up winning the AL West and winning 90 games and going 90 and 72, you know. Not trying to get greedy and say that we can win 100. We're not the fucking Dodgers, you know. But getting 88, 89, 90 wins, that should be what we go for. And again, if the pitching staff can stay healthy, the bullpen with Brash and Santos and Munoz can stay healthy, maybe we bring up Durangelo and he switch pitches, lefty and righty, you know, and we get some farm guys to maybe come up, Montez, Ford, you know, Emerson and Young. If we can get some of these guys potentially to come up since we let Mitch Haniger go, you know, I don't think anyone's really going to cry about that, and we'll see where it goes. Some of them are going to be bots, you know, because when we hit the algorithm, you know, again, at any given point, you never know where, you know, the likes and where you're going to be at. We've had some streams where we got the likes first, and then the people came in after. Then we've gotten ones where we've gotten the people to come in first or the bots, and then the likes, you know, will come after. And other times, you know, you'll get the, you know, people coming in, but, you know, you won't get the likes in there until later or maybe until after the stream ends. It's kind of a weird process, you know, with how YouTube works, you know, with people that are there, you know, whether some of them are bots or not. But, you know, regardless if people are smashing the like button or not, of course, I would love, you know, for us to be able to match the likes with the people that are in the room, or at least get a quarter of that. But, you know, I'm not going to complain. Again, it just, you know, I'm going to grind it out. And as they show Chase Elliott there on the screen with team communications, I'm definitely excited about the Mariners coming up. And I'm excited for the season for sure. But we've been able to hit the algorithm pretty often, you know, through the NASCAR streams, which is good. And hopefully we'll be able to get the same for the Mariners this year as well. Because people kind of know me for doing the Seattle Mariners and the Oregon Ducks primarily, with a lot of other content. Wow, 4 wide. 92 laps to go. Larson, Wallace, Hamlin, Reddick, Bowman in your top 5. Byron, Cindric, Briscoe, Allmendinger, and Buscher in your top 10. And we're in the bottom of the 4th. Mariners 2, Brewers 2. And Mastroboni, the former Cub, in the box against Hudson. Let him know, AM. $91 to go. And then we got the Oregon Ducks and the Arizona Wildcats later tonight. Just don't know if I'm going to have enough energy, after doing a 3.5 hour stream and then, maybe having only a little bit of a break. But, I got to make a thumbnail, and that doesn't, that's not something that happens, just in a blink of an eye. It takes time. So usually a half hour to an hour for every one. Sometimes some take longer than an hour. So. But I would like to do Arizona, Oregon, but I just don't know if I'll have the energy for it. Paisley Pup always is first priority, so. Bubba Wallace with the pass there on Larson. First time that we've seen Bubba Wallace in that Toyota up front. Wallace, Larson, Hamlin, Bowman, Byron, Blaney, Reddick, Cindric, Allmendinger, Briscoe, Buscher in 11th. $88 to go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Every like really helps out in the algorithm, regardless if we have it for a little bit or the whole stream. And then obviously on the dono train, we still got a ways to go there as well. We're at 12, 88 to go. Help your boy out. Yeah, and the Oregon women's team lost to Duke. I'm not really surprised about that, but shout out to the Oregon Ducks female basketball team on the women's side. Had a fantastic season. But they never were one of the teams that were, projected to go all the way or anything like that. But we're pretty solid, for football and basketball here in Oregon. $86 to go. Come on, Chase. Chase all the way back at 27th now. Come on, baby. And we're still knotted up here at 2 with the Mariners and the Brewers. Let's go, M. 6 hits for the Mariners, 2 for the Brewers, but we got 2 errors. Brewers have 1. 85 laps to go. Wallace, Larson, Hamlin, Blaney, Bowman, Byron, Reddick, Cindric, Allmendinger, and Buscher in your top 10. Tell him, Jamie Little. I'm jealous of the people that work for NASCAR. I would love to work for them. Everything about NASCAR is dope. The driver, the car, the team, the crew chief, the spotter, the pit crew, the fans, the tracks, the sponsors, the history, the aura, the vibe, the speed, the sounds. It's just I mean, again, NFL and college football obviously are pretty high on the priority list in the United States of America. But NASCAR has been growing steadily, over the years. Not just a bunch of OGs, watching it, back from like the Richard Petty era. You're starting to get some of the younger generation involved as well, which is cool to see. 83 to go. Now JT in the building. What's good? We started at noon. It was our early start today. So I got the Mariners and the Brewers on. I was watching Duke. Obviously, a blowout Baylor as well. We got 82 laps left here. And then we got Oregon and Arizona later on tonight. But I just don't know if I'll have enough energy to do it because I got to take Paisley on another walk, make a thumbnail. But I'm going to try. Because, I mean, again, this might be the last game Oregon plays this season for the men. So, and I didn't do the game where we beat the shit out of Liberty. And I know it's going to be one of the best games today overall. Again, Florida, UConn, 77-75. UConn gave everything that they had to Florida. They barely hung on. Duke, 89-66 final over Baylor. That's what a number one seed is supposed to do. Florida, take notes. Auburn, take notes. And I feel like we're going to get some upsets in the rest of the games. Illinois, Kentucky, St. Mary's, Bama, Colorado State, Maryland, Ole Miss, Iowa State, New Mexico, Michigan State. And not every team is going to get upset. But out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games, don't be surprised if we have at least 1 or 2 upsets where the lower seed wins. Like you would assume Illinois and Ole Miss, as far as underdogs, are going to have the best shot. 6 seed going against a 3 seed. Illinois going against Kentucky and Ole Miss against Iowa State. Those are going to be the best chances for the upset. And then obviously Oregon, Arizona, 5 seed versus a 4 seed. That's going to be must-see TV. And we got a big man named Biddle who's like, 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot. He's our best player on the team. Kind of reminds me of like a Donovan Clingan type of guy on the Blazers. We'll definitely be able to see if he'll will us to the victory. Caleb Love for Arizona and Nate Biddle for Oregon. And we're a pretty heavy underdog. 68%, 69% Arizona, 31% Oregon. So it's not going to be easy. One bracket remains perfect. That person that picked Alabama is knocked off, so it's got to be one of the 2 people that had Duke going all the way. So. Mariners and Brewers still knotted up at 2 here in the top of the 5th with 2 outs. And I like the way that the Mariners have been playing in spring training. They haven't been able to get a lot of wins, but again, they've been hitting much better. And I'm very excited for the debut on Thursday here on stream against the A's on the season opener. Logan Gilbert on the mound against Severino. We should be able to win that. And hopefully the bats come alive. Can't wait. And we'll be doing a lot of Mariners on the stream. I'm still going to try to do a little bit of Monday Night Raw, a little bit of NASCAR Cup Series, probably a little bit less Kraken and Blazers, if I'm being honest. But if there's a day off, obviously we're going to be looking for content to do. And obviously I feel I'll do a little bit of everything on the stream overall. But we're going to have some good Mariners structure moving forward. One pitch from Bryce Miller, crushed, and that's fading foul. That one bracket that remains perfect won't be around, by the end of today. By the end of today, that bracket will be busted. We'll have 0 perfect brackets at the end of today. You can almost bet on that. 2-2 pitch for Bryce Miller. Got him. Can't wait to be able to see that this year. And again, George Kirby is going to have that, strained shoulder where he's going to miss the first 2 weeks. So obviously when Castillo and Hancock pitch, close your eyes, more than likely. But again, I think Wu and Miller are going to have breakout years. And Logan Gilbert is our ace. So I expect those three to be very, very good. And hopefully George Kirby won't get the injury bug, and hopefully he'll be okay. And he'll be our second best pitcher possibly. But this could be the year where Kirby ends up being the fourth best pitcher, where it might be Gilbert, Wu, or Miller, at the top. And then, Kirby's still as good, but might battle a little bit of injuries. Castillo will definitely be the fifth. And then when Hancock has to come in and fill for someone, not very good, but again, you have to have someone in that 5 spot. And eventually when Kirby comes back, that'll be, the rotation that it looks like that they're going to be running is a little odd. It looks like it's going to be Gilbert, Kirby, Miller, Wu, and then you would assume Castillo, but they got Castillo in the 2-hole, so we'll see how that goes. I don't know why they had Castillo at the 1 and the 2. Castillo should be the 5, but that's the Mariners for you. 72 laps to go, and this has been the cleanest race here in 2025. Where we haven't had a big wreck yet. Chief in the building, sending me some conspiracy theory videos, and I love it. How are you doing, my guy? We're at 12, 88 to go. Like, sub, donate, comment, share, help your boy out. And we'll see if I have the energy to do Oregon, Arizona later today. If not, I'll definitely be watching. And then we got Monday Night Raw at a special time tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific, because they're going to be in Glasgow, Scotland, Drew McIntyre country, and we'll be doing that tomorrow. And I don't really know what we're doing for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday just yet, but we'll figure that out as we get closer into those times. What's good, Chief? I got March Madness on. I got Mariners Brewers on. I got NASCAR Cup Series on. We're having ourselves a day. Yeah, and I'm getting pretty close to finishing X-Files from the very beginning. It's been a wild run. Watching it from season 1, I'm all the way to season 9, and I think they have 11 seasons on Hulu and whatnot. So definitely excited of where the story has been going. It's been a lot of time consumed, but it's been a very good watch, because I remember watching some episodes when I was a kid, but there's a lot of those episodes that I have never seen before, and it's been a real blast to watch. I'm doing that. I'm doing Walking Dead from the very beginning, Shameless from the very beginning, and then what else? Oh, The Blacklist from the very beginning. So I got myself, quite a few shows, and I just finished the season finale of Severance that's on Apple Plus. And again, Apple TV Plus, to me, has some of the best shows, but it's just not marketed very well. They don't really market their shows, but as far as like quality of shows, it's a very underrated product. And I feel like some of the shows like Silo and Severance are very, very good, especially if you like sci-fi. I'm good, Chief. Well, Chief, what's on the menu today? What's on the menu? Mariners. There we go. 3-2 M's. Let's go. Yeah. And like I told you before, some videos look a little bit more convincing than others, but the way that the AI programming has been, some, AI videos, they look AI, but others, they look real. Like, it's really hard to tell the difference, with people talking and with animals and, things that are kind of mysterious, that could be Bigfoot or a UFO or whatever, they're definitely, kind of blending the lines of what truth is and what fake is and what reality is and what something else could be, it's getting harder and harder, to tell. And we're getting to the point that even if someone did post like a real alien or a UFO shot, most people wouldn't believe it, because again, we've seen so many of these things now with AI, they're living among us. Man, I'm used to seeing a truck race, go with 3 cautions, or maybe like an Xfinity race. But I have not seen a cup race with fucking 3 cautions and no wrecks whatsoever. And again, I don't want a wreck to happen and all of a sudden, my favorites are eliminated. But I'm itching for a big wreck here, but I don't know if we're going to get it. Ooh, family function. Family functions are always good. Yeah, I'm going to try to go visit my dad so my dad can, he's got a dog, Lucas, and Paisley and Lucas could, go out there and play in some, my dad's got a couple acres in the backyard and whatnot with a nice walking field area. But definitely I'm looking forward to doing like ribs, corn, mashed potato, potato salad, just like having all the fixins, burgers, dogs, ribs, potato salad, mac salad, corn, all the fixins. But I know we have Easter coming up, so I'll have a little bit of a meal then. But once we get into the regular season, I'm going to definitely try to go up to my dad's property up there and watch a Dodger game with him and then get the dogs to be able to spend some time with each other because they don't really get a chance to see other dogs necessarily. So I know it'll be good for both of them. 3-2 Mariners in the bottom of the 5th. Jorge Polanco in the box, homered earlier today. Great sign to see. And we got 63 laps to go here in stage 3. 204 laps completed out of 267. Only 3 cautions, no wrecks, 19 caution laps, 21 lead changes, and a nice sprinkle of Toyota, Chevy, and Fords here in the top 10. Yeah. Well, also, too, more and more things are getting released to the public. JFK files, them admitting, the government, that aliens are real and UFOs are real after they denied it for so many years, So, but even when you tell people, that it's real, not everyone pays attention to the news or what's, coming out. Some people are just in their own world, playing video games or working or doing whatever. Not everyone is keeping up to date with what's going on in the world. End of the 5th, 3-2 Mariners, and we have a little commercial break here. 61 laps to go. Who is going to win the Straight Talk Wireless 400 here at Homestead? Chief, appreciate you. Every dollar counts, my guy. Oh, yeah. Baked beans. Oh, that sounds great. I've been itching. Cornbread and baked beans, man. Stacks on stacks, racks on racks. A little Cactus Jack. Bang, bang, $5 holla. Appreciate you. What do you want to do for photos, my guy? It could be anything. We're at 17. 83 to go. So outside of football with the Chiefs, do you follow anything else? I know you follow the Heat, obviously with everything that has transpired after Jimmy has left and whatnot. But anything else that you follow besides the NBA and the NFL? Oh, cheesy corn. Never had it. Sounds delicious, though. I love me some corn on the cob, and certain foods like that, just because you don't really eat it. It's like barbecue type of stuff. Uh-oh, engine failure for Blaney? Oh, no. After being up front all day? Holy fuck. Flames coming out of the bottom. He's smoking. Damn. That's why you want to make sure you're running that yellow 12, not this fucking dent lizard fucking clone of a Napa car, a poor man's Napa look. That's rough. Yeah, well, guess what, Chief? You're not the only one. I mean, 99% of people that do March Madness have no idea who anybody is fucking out there. They might have heard of like the superstar, like a Cooper Flag, or on the women's side, like Juju Watkins or Paige Bueckers, But let's be real. Besides Cooper Flag, how many people actually know other superstar players? And is there any, superstar players other than Cooper Flag? Like, honestly, So I feel like that's kind of part of the game where there's a reason why, college hoops is a little weak, because you don't really have a lot of name recognition. It's not really marketed properly like the NBA, and there's really not very many big names, It's like you usually have like one or two for the women, one or two for the men, and that's it, which is, there's a reason why that product is the way that it is, but tough break there for Ryan Blaney. Yeah. So with the cheesy corn, it's off the cob itself, and then it's just mixed in with like different flavors with cheese and whatnot, and then you just eat it out of a bowl, I assume. Damn, that's rough with that engine failure there because I think Blaney had a good opportunity to win the race. He definitely was good enough. He's always good enough. He's very polished. Yeah. But, 99% of the world doesn't watch college basketball until March Madness, if they're filling out a bracket for work or their friends, and whatnot. It's not like people are sitting there watching every single game of college hoops, men's or women's, unless you went to the school, or you're a hardcore fan and you watch every game in college, but it's not really a common thing, 57 laps to go. Wallace, Larson, Hamlin, Reddick, Bowman, Allmendinger, Byron, Briscoe, Cindric, and Busher in your top 10. Yeah, that's why I think I love Thanksgiving as my favorite holiday, because, Easter, I kind of do the same type of foods, but it's like I like the turkey, I like the ham, I like the mashed potatoes and gravy. If they have like deviled eggs, and maybe I'll take a couple, stuffing. Give me all the fixins. And I think that's why I like, those particular holidays, because I only eat that food like once or twice a year. And, leftovers are undefeated. Again, like pizza, pad thai, are probably like the best leftovers that you can get that are regular food. But I think Thanksgiving food has definitely got to be up there with pizza and pad thai for leftovers. Sometimes a leftover can hit better than the first meal. Little turkey sandwich with the mashed potatoes and gravy inside, or you can do everything on the side if you're one of those people that don't like your food touching each other. For me, I don't really give a fuck. If it's all on the plate, obviously a little bit of separation is good, but when you got like 8 different fucking things on there, it is what it is. And I'll definitely try a little bit of everything. Yeah. But again, we're not bandwagon, right? Right. So that's how it goes. Yeah, and you know what? You're not the only one. You're not the only one, because we've actually gotten bigger stars out of that, with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and Sabrina Ionescu. There's been more hype, over there. Because again, if you ask most people, besides Cooper Flag, name a superstar in college basketball, they can't, because there really isn't anybody. There's guys that are good, but not superstar, And obviously on the women's, you got Juju Watkins and Paige Bueckers, and it still doesn't have the same feeling as maybe a Caitlin Clark, but yeah, I think the women's game has slightly surpassed a little bit, on some of the men's stuff for sure. Wow, he led 124 laps and then the fucking car blew up. Tough break for Ryan Blaney. Yeah, for hockey, for sure. First, it really comes down to, it's just like watching games and figuring out who's on the team, but obviously going in person is going to be better in sports, in almost anything, but, the more the more interested you're going to be, just like in anything. It's hard to be able to get into a sport if you don't know who anybody is, or don't know the rules on top of that as well, so. Yeah, we haven't been able to see Christopher Bell's name. We saw him in the top 10 briefly earlier in the race, but when you end up winning that many races early in the season, you're going to have a couple races where things are going to be a little bit more challenging, like it was for him in April last year. So. Raude. She's in commercials now too. Yeah. It's and you're like me, Chief. You appreciate the greatness, whatever sport it may be, do you ever watch WWE? WWE has been cooking, Chief. You should come through and hang out with us, one of these days when we do one of the pay-per-views or the PLEs. I end up doing Raw pretty often as well, but I don't know if you're into it or not, but if there's a time to get into it, it's now. It's the best it's been since the 90s. 4-3 Brewers. Come on, Mariners. All right, we got a lot of cars hitting the pits now. Bowman, Byron, Cindric, Dillon, Gregson, Priest, Haley, Smith, Barry, and Suarez in your top 10. Joey Logano on the outside looking in. Yeah, there's definitely a few names that we haven't been able to talk about in this whole race. Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, some of these big names that we really haven't seen them be able to work up the field. It's a kind of a harder track to pass, and we haven't had that big wreck, that could help some of those guys in the middle and the back get towards the front. It's been a clean race today, like one of the cleanest races that I've seen. I don't want to say clean and boring, but I'm still waiting for that big fucking wreck to happen, but I'm not sure if we're going to get it. Yeah. Well, unfortunate Larson couldn't end up winning yesterday when he led over 100 plus laps, and you had someone stall, and that was the end of it when you have a caution and you end up, going into OT, or you go into late in the race when you end up having the lead comfortably, because he ended up winning the trucks. Should have won the Xfinity race yesterday, but Allgaier winning, that doesn't bother me. Back-to-back wins for Junior Motorsports, and I like Justin Allgaier. But if we're being real, Larson should have ended up, getting the trifecta, trucks, Xfinity, and having a good chance, obviously, to win today. And he raced in another race earlier in the week. Again, it doesn't matter if it's funny car or on a different circuit, and he won that race. Could you imagine racing, 4 times in a week and winning in all 4 events? And that's, I know, what Larson was going for, but one of the most overall talented drivers in anything, in this, obviously NASCAR Cup Series. Kyle Busch, another one of those guys that can, race anything, trucks, Xfinity, Cup, funny car, doesn't matter. But it's crazy, like the spin outs that we've had have been in the pits rather than actually on the track. Yeah, Josh Berry, kind of get turned around. Logano got turned around. Suarez got turned around in the pits. Crazy. It's the first time I think I've seen a race where you've had more action in the pits than you had actually on the track. 51 to go. Yeah, Florida. They almost fucked it up today, but they found a way to win. I mean, it doesn't matter if you win by 1 or 2. A win is a win. But definitely, they got pushed to their limits today. 4-3 Brewers, bottom of the 6th. Rowdy Tellez in the box. Can't wait for the regular season to start for the MLB. Be a little bit less, hockey and NBA on the stream when that happens, when we get into the regular season for the MLB. But, I'm going to try to sprinkle in, obviously still with the NASCAR Cup Series and Monday Night Raw with the Mariners, and every once in a while a Blazer or Kraken, matchup or something else. Or maybe another March Madness, game, or maybe something during the NBA playoffs. $51 laps in here in stage 3 out of the 102. 51 to go. Yeah. UConn wasn't good enough to three-peat this year, though. They didn't have enough depth in their roster. Rowdy Tellez with a nice single. Love seeing him in the Mariners. All right, back to green. 50 laps to go, baby. He said, "What's up, Chief? I don't believe in UFOs." Oh, they're real, man. They exist. I've seen one. Like, no bullshit. It kind of scared me a little bit. My dad had seen one too, and my dad was a, English teacher for 40 years. Never lies. Never, tries to bend the truth even a little. And again, it like affected my dad, in a way where, he was kind of messed up, for like a month after, and he lives on, in the kind of the boonies, and it was hovering above the house and shit. And my dad is not the type of person to lie and, make stuff up and whatnot. So, everyone's going to have their own personal experiences. Not everyone is going to see one, especially now with a bunch of like drones and other things that might be confused, for a real UFO with like drones and other things, other technologies. But I know my dad, after talking to him, he was very uneasy, because my dad was a non-believer for many, many years, that is just a, bunch of hoopla, until he actually saw one, and then kind of got scared, and starting to, realize that, we have no control at any given point. If someone wanted to eliminate us, they could. We don't have that type of technology. So, but everyone is open to their own opinions on things like that, for sure. $46 laps to go. Yeah. Also, too, you have to go back in history and look at our technology, right? So when we're riding horses and buggies and we're doing all that, and it's that old school technology, then you have Roswell happen, and then all of a sudden, you have airplanes and helicopters and cars. You ever think about reverse engineering? Like, how did we go from horse and buggies to all of that technology? It just didn't come out of nowhere. Like, it just didn't happen all of a sudden. One day someone said, yeah, let's do this. And then all of a sudden it just started happening. You have to think things are, kind of linked together and whatnot. So, and again, if you go back and look at history and many, many different cultures around the world, with different paintings and whatnot, it's like how in pre-internet days, how are people seeing the same thing in Italy and Japan, and Hawaii, all over the world, and again, they've been here and they've been visiting for thousands of years, 100%. But again, you're open to your own opinion, and that is totally fine. And if you actually look at how small Earth is, compared to the rest of the universe and what we know of the universe, and, we are a little speck, so to think that we're the only intelligent life is crazy. There's no way. They're definitely, and also there's different timelines and whatnot, more than likely as well. So I feel like, if we were able to have dinosaurs, here on the planet, what would make you think that we can't have UFOs or aliens or something that you can't explain, or, animals or beings that we can't explain? If dinosaurs roam the fucking earth, anything is possible. That's how I feel about it. It's like almost unimaginable. If like we didn't find the bones, people wouldn't believe that dinosaurs were real. There's like, oh, there's no way some 100-foot dinosaurs roaming the earth, like compared to how we live now, if you think about it like that. So, but again, it all depends on how much you read and, how much you keep up with things, over history. So. So what do you believe? You believe that we're just like in the Matrix and everything is a simulation and everything is fake? Is that what you believe? Yeah, and just because you don't see something doesn't mean it doesn't exist, It's like, how often do people go camping and never see a bear, But obviously we know that they exist, It's like, just because you don't see something doesn't mean it's not there. There's a lot of different, possibilities with things too, Yeah, but you also have to think how much of land and water that have not been explored, that we still are finding new species daily, 38 laps to go. Wallace, Bowman, Briscoe, Larson, Hamlin, Busher, Reddick, Dillon, Allmendinger, and Priest in your top 10. Zane Smith on the outside looking in. .37 laps to go. On this particular track, I'm not too sure. Besides just the information that they gave me, but someone could look that up though. 4-3 Brewers in the top of the 7th. $35 to go, $34 to go. Yeah, each track is a different spec and whatnot. Wallace, Bowman, Briscoe, Larson, Hamlin, Busher, Reddick, Dillon, Allmendinger, and Priest in your top 10. See if we can get some of these other drivers that are in the middle of the pack. But again, unless you get a big wreck, you're not going to see a big advancement from the guys in the back end or in the middle of the pack to move towards the front. I mean, a lot of the guys that have been stuck, from 15th to 30th have stayed there. Like we haven't seen Ross Chastain barely, Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, a lot of like recognizable names we haven't really heard from today. Yeah, I don't know about that now, JT. You have an interesting way of thinking, but don't be surprised in 20, 30 years if we have people on Mars that are living there. And if they had water on Mars back in the day, it's very possible that people lived there first, and then had to colonize somewhere else, No one is ever really going to know. You could also say that religion is made up, based on control, and not wanting people to freak out and people to, to stay in line. There's many ways that you can go about it, but no one ever is going to know, like how old, our solar system or Earth is, because obviously we don't live long enough, or are going to have the answers enough to go back that far in time. No one is really truly going to know. But I feel that, anything should be, considered, expect the unexpected. And, I don't think things are so black and white. I think things can have a gray area too. And again, there's all kinds of different possibilities and, and different type of opinions, on things, but as far as things that we don't understand and the supernatural, I think that there's a lot of things that will never be answered in our lifetime or anybody's lifetime. So if you ended up finding out, so you don't think UFOs or aliens are real, even though the government has already showed information and documents that they are? So why would they say that aliens and UFOs are real when they're not? Why would the government do that when they've been covering it up the whole time? And then when you have people that are like in the Air Force, and they actually have footage that is from their plane, why would they release that information if that could cause fear to the American public or the global public? Because, right, if people were to say, yeah, aliens and UFOs are real, and they feel that everyone's going to riot and be stupid, because obviously America is stupid and a lot of people are stupid. Not everyone is stupid, but there would be stupid people not handling the situation. But why would they release that information? Where do you go from there? I'm just trying to get inside your brain on how you think. Like, what does the government have to gain on saying that UFOs and aliens are real when they've been covering it up for all these years? Is the thought of aliens and UFOs being real scare you? Is that why you feel that you don't want to have them actually be real? Like that maybe we have no control of what's going on here, and at any given point an invasion could happen and everyone could die, even though that, that's a movie type of thought, type of thing. But is it because like the unexplained scares you, like just the thought of not having control over your own life? Is that kind of what it is? Oh, it doesn't scare you at all? He said, I'm more scared of my neighbors. True that. Especially with the dogs running wild. $25 to go. Bowman, Wallace, Briscoe, Larson, Hamlin, Busher, Allmendinger, Reddick, Dillon, and Priest in your top 10. And we have a Justin Haley sighting on the outside looking in. Brewers up 5-3 on the Mariners now. Fuck. Yeah, moon landings are always going to be debated, Obviously, trying to be able to reach, the moon first, and, if they had to do it in a Hollywood studio, to be able to show that we got there first, But then what about, the other countries, that have the technology and whatnot? It's not like America is the only one that has some intelligence. I mean, you're going to have intelligence in China and Japan and in other countries as well. So, but I feel like, you can be a skeptic, and you can also realize, conspiracy theories are real. And you can also realize that just because you read about something or you see something on the news doesn't mean it's real. It's just what they're reporting. But everyone assumes what they see on the news or read in an article is real on the internet and whatnot. But with the moon stuff, that's always been, some speculation there. Did they actually go? And if, a country did go, did they see something on the dark side of the moon that they didn't want to see? And after traveling, quote unquote, a few times there, it's not like we're going there anymore. Why is that? Like, are there people living on the moon? Again, I'm not going to be shocked in 20, 30 years, regardless if Elon is, the main one, spearheading the project. But don't be surprised in 20, 30 years if you got people living on Mars. It'll start off with a small group, but, if they end up getting the food supply and, all the things that they need to be able to live out there, there'll definitely be one-way tickets to Mars at some point. 20 laps to go. You mean United States of America? Earth is a little bit different than United States of America. $19 to go. I also feel like, people don't realize like how big, the universe is. It's like people remember seeing books in school and whatnot, and you can see different graphs, on posts on the internet. But I don't think really people understand like how small Earth is in reality of what we have in our own solar system, on top of, how many stars and how many planets that are actually out there, so far out. Obviously certain things can be seen by high-powered telescopes and having that knowledge. But again, I don't think people really realize like how big, things really are out there. Like we are literally just like a speck of salt, for Earth. It's like the whole world and the whole universe does not revolve just around Earth. There's definitely other things that are out there that we don't have the technology to reach. But maybe one day our technology will, be better, and maybe we'll be able to go a little bit further than we obviously can now in this particular generation. $16 to go. $15 laps to go. Bowman, Wallace, Briscoe, Larson, Hamlin, Busher, Allmendinger, Reddick, Priest, and Dillon. Come on, Mariners, down 5-3. Bottom of this, I don't know if they're going to come back. Randy Rosarina in the box. And we are 13 to go. Yeah, me as well. I mean, hell, my name's Orion, for Christ's sake. So, I'm definitely a star child. $12 to go. Bowman, Wallace, Larson in your top three. Feels like it could be one of those three drivers here. But again, we've been so clean today. 4 cautions, no big wrecks. It's like I have watched many, many races over the years, and maybe we'll end up having that big wreck on the last lap. Again, jockeying for position. And again, it's been very clean today, which is a little surprising. But maybe we'll end up having that big wreck on the last lap. Yeah, but what about the other countries that have been to the moon? What's the reasoning for those? Because it's not like America is the only one to been to the moon, supposedly. $11 to go. 9 to go. Yeah, but also too, if we were having a lesser of a technology and then Roswell happened, and then all of a sudden the technology had a big lift after Roswell, coincidence or not? How did we end up going from horse and buggies to automobiles, and going to airplanes and helicopters, without having something to be able to go off of? So, you got to think about that as well. So if they were actually able to get there, obviously having to reverse technology of something that wasn't from here to help us take that next leap, obviously into our civilization, based on the methods of moving, everything goes kind of hand in hand, 6 laps to go. Larson up front. Larson, Bowman, Wallace, Briscoe, Hamlin, Busher, Allmendinger, Reddick, Priest, and Haley. And this would be crazy if Larson ends up coming back and winning, because he should have won the Xfinity race yesterday. He led over 100 laps, but then obviously had a stall on the restart by another driver, and that prevented him from winning. And then Justin Allgaier ended up winning the Xfinity Series, going back-to-back wins in back-to-back weeks. Five laps left. Looks like Larson is going to have a very good chance of winning. There's Jeff Gordon. Jeff is loving it. Three laps to go. Larson, Bowman, Wallace, Briscoe, Hamlin, Busher, Allmendinger, Reddick, Priest, Haley. I was hoping that Chase could have a top 10 finish, but it hasn't been too good, of a week in, week out thing for Chase, besides Bowman Gray and winning that in the first race of the year. 2 to go. Seeing if Bowman can catch his teammate Larson, but Bowman had the best car going in. But Larson raced the trucks, won that, should have won the Xfinity race yesterday, led 100+ laps, and now up front at the end at that high side because Larson knows this track better than anybody. Two laps to go, baby. 6-3 Brewers. Fuck. Looks like the Mariners are going to lose this one in spring training. White flag. Riding that wall, coming in handy. No one's going to catch him. Man, and again, if he didn't have that driver stall, he would have won the trifecta. Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup Series, which only Kyle Busch has really been able to do. Damn shame in that Xfinity Series, but it looks like he is going to win here at the Straight Talk Wireless 400 at Homestead, and he does. Wow. Wow, what a win. What a win for Kyle Larson. Big win. Almost pulled off the trifecta this weekend at Homestead. That's definitely going to make him feel a hell of a lot better. All right, baby. I see you. What a victory. I got to go eat lunch, spend time with Paisley, and I don't think I'll have the energy to do Oregon and Arizona, which is just going to be in a couple hours. So I'll probably just watch that. We'll do Monday Night Raw in Glasgow. Obviously, the home of Drew McIntyre. That'll be at 1 o'clock Pacific since they're in Europe. So we'll be doing that tomorrow. It'll be a little bit of an early stream. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of March Madness. And hopefully the teams that you have on the bracket win. And we'll be live tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific for WWE Monday Night Raw. Yeah, I mean, I can go about that, at any given point, but it's just a matter of getting enough people to come through where, we can get the views and the likes and the subs and the donos, to make it worthwhile. But, I could definitely do anything on any given topic on any given day, but it's just about getting the right amount of people here. But if we end up going into those topics while we do a stream, I don't have a problem kind of going off to the side and discussing these other things. I actually like doing it, but sometimes it just depends on what the event is for us to do it. Britt woke up after a stage 2 nap and Larson won right there at the end. Well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. And again, we'll be live tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific for Monday Night Raw. And I got one question for you. Who can go talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Love you guys, and I appreciate you guys. And I'm out. Bye.